There is a moment in life when you suddenly realize something powerful. You realize that you have spent years trying to explain yourself to people who were never going to understand you, no matter how clear, honest, or patient you were. And when this realization hits you, something inside you wakes up. You feel lighter. You feel stronger. You feel free. Today, my friend, you are going to understand one of the biggest secrets of confidence, peace, and personal power. The secret is simple. When you stop explaining yourself, everything changes. Most people waste their energy trying to convince others that they are good, kind, smart, capable, or worthy. They spend their days trying to justify their dreams, their decisions, and their path. They explain their goals. They explain their mistakes. They explain their life. And because they explain so much, they feel tired, confused, and small. But here is the truth. You do not need to explain yourself to anyone who has already judged you. You do not need to explain yourself to anyone who has already made up their mind. And you definitely do not need to explain yourself to people who don't even care about your growth. Your life becomes powerful the moment you stop trying to be understood by people who are not even trying to understand you. This video will show you why stopping the habit of explaining yourself will change your confidence, your direction, and your entire life. And to make it easy for English learners, I will break everything into simple points. Each point is like a small lesson, simple to read and easy to apply. Point 1. People who judge you don't want explanations. One of the biggest reasons people explain themselves again and again is fear. Not fear of danger, but fear of being misunderstood. Fear that someone will think you are wrong. Fear that someone will think you are rude. Fear that someone will think you are lazy, selfish, or strange. This fear sits quietly inside you, and whenever someone questions your decisions, it wakes up. It tells you, explain yourself. Tell them why you did it. Make them understand. And because you don't want any conflict or judgment, you start talking. You start justifying every little thing. You try to make your actions look reasonable. You try to make your choices look acceptable. But here's the truth that most people don't realize. The people who judge you are not looking for explanations. They're looking for more reasons to continue judging you. Imagine this simple situation. You finally decide to follow your dream. Maybe you want to start a small business, learn a new skill, change your job, or begin a new chapter in life. You feel excited. You feel hopeful. You feel motivated. And then you tell someone you trust. Instead of supporting you, they say, "Do you even know what you're doing? Are you sure? Why would you do that? Isn't it too risky?" And suddenly, your excitement disappears. You switch into defense mode. You start explaining. You explain your plan in detail. You explain your thoughts. You explain your motivations. You explain your future goals. You even explain things you didn't need to explain. But while you are talking, something feels strange. Their face doesn't change. Their expression stays the same. There is no understanding, no encouragement, no real interest. And finally, you realize something important. No matter how perfectly you explain, their opinion will not change. Why does this happen? Because these people were not asking questions to understand you. They were asking questions to criticize you. Their goal is not clarity. Their goal is control. They want you to doubt yourself. They want you to feel confused. They want you to shrink your dream down to their level. And the more you explain, the more power you give them. The more you talk, the more they judge. The more you justify, the more they push back. Explaining yourself to such people becomes an endless cycle that only drains your confidence. When you meet people who judge you like this, the smartest thing you can do is stop explaining. Save your breath. Save your time. Save your energy. You don't need to defend your choices to someone who already decided that you are wrong. You don't need to convince anyone who never believed in you in the first place. You don't need to seek approval from someone who doesn't want to see you grow. The moment you stop explaining, something powerful happens. Their words lose power over you. Their judgment cannot affect you the same way. Their opinion becomes just noise, not a command. You stand stronger. You feel lighter. You trust yourself more. And you finally understand that your life is too important to waste on people who only want to misunderstand you. When you stop explaining yourself to people who judge you, you take your power back. And that is when your real confidence begins. Point 2. Your actions speak louder than any explanation. Many people spend a large part of their life explaining themselves because they believe words will make them look better. They think if they talk enough, if they justify enough, if they describe every detail clearly, then people will finally understand them, respect them, and trust them. But the world doesn't work that way. The world doesn't listen to explanations. The world listens to results. And this is one of the biggest lessons you will ever learn. When you explain yourself, people hear your words. But words are easy. Words are cheap. Anyone can say, "I will change." "I will do better." "I am serious," or "I am trying." But when you act, people see your truth. Actions don't lie. Actions speak with a volume that explanations can never reach. Your actions tell the world what you really believe. Your actions show what you truly value. Your actions reveal your discipline, your habits, your character, and your focus. Think about it for a moment. If you say, "I'm working hard," it sounds good. But it's only when people see you waking up early, focusing, practicing, learning, improving, and staying consistent that they believe you. If you say, "I'm improving my life," that's fine. But it's only when people see you changing your behavior, controlling your emotions, setting boundaries, and building new habits that they respect you. When you explain, people doubt you. When you act, people watch you. They may not clap. They may not say anything. But they notice. And over time, your actions will speak louder than anything you could ever say. One day, you will understand something powerful. The people who believe in you don't need explanations, and the people who doubt you won't accept explanations. The ones who trust you will support you without needing every detail. They will see your potential without any long speeches. And the ones who doubt you, they will doubt even your best explanation. They will twist your words. They will question your reasons. They will find faults in everything you say. So why waste your breath? Your actions are what build your reputation. Your actions are what shape your identity. Your actions are what create your success. A person who talks too much usually does too little. A person who works silently usually grows the fastest. Every minute you spend trying to explain your choices is a minute you could use to improve your choices. Every moment you spend trying to convince someone is a moment you could use to build something. When you stop explaining and start doing, your life begins to change in ways you never expected. You become more focused. You become more disciplined. You become more confident. You start seeing results. You start feeling progress. You start moving forward with real momentum. And eventually, the same people who doubted you will come back and ask, "How did you do it?" That's the beauty of silent growth. People ignore you while you're working, but they respect you when the results appear. So let your actions do the talking. Let your consistency do the explaining. Let your growth tell your story. Act more. Speak less. Build more. Explain less. Because in the end, your life will be judged by what you do, not by what you say. Point 3. You are not responsible for how others see you. There is a truth that can completely change the way you live, think, and feel. The truth is simple. You are not responsible for other people's opinions. You are not responsible for what people think about you. You are not responsible for how someone interprets your decisions, your silence, your behavior, or your personality. Other people's opinions belong to them, not to you. And because those opinions are not yours, you do not have to explain yourself to fix them. Once you understand this, life becomes lighter, calmer, and much more peaceful. Let me share a small story to make this real. There was a young man who always tried to be good. He tried to be polite. He tried to be respectful. He tried to be helpful. He wanted everyone to like him. He wanted everyone to feel comfortable around him. He wanted everyone to think he was a good person. But no matter how hard he tried, someone always misunderstood him. When he talked, people said he talked too much. When he stayed quiet, people said he was arrogant. When he helped, people said he wanted attention. When he didn't help, people said he was selfish. When he spoke honestly, people said he was rude. When he stayed polite, people said he was fake. No matter what he did, someone always found something wrong. The young man began to feel tired, exhausted. He spent so much time explaining himself to everyone. He tried to explain why he talked. He tried to explain why he stayed quiet. He tried to explain why he helped, why he didn't help, why he chose something, why he avoided something. He explained and explained and explained until he felt empty. And one day, something clicked inside him. He realized that even if he lived the most perfect life, someone would still find a reason to judge him. Even if he made no mistakes, someone would still misunderstand him. Even if he tried his best, someone would still complain. At that moment, he stopped explaining himself. And for the first time in his entire life, he felt peace. Your life becomes lighter the moment you accept this same truth. No matter what you do, people will always have something to say. Some people will misunderstand you because they don't know you. Some will misunderstand because they don't want to know you. Some will misunderstand because they are unhappy with themselves. Some will misunderstand simply because they enjoy judging others. Their opinions have nothing to do with your truth. Their comments have nothing to do with your value. Their judgments have nothing to do with your character. So stop worrying about what they think. Stop trying to control their perspective. Stop trying to explain yourself to people who don't even see your heart. You are not here to make everyone happy. You are not here to fit everyone's expectations. You are not here to spend your life defending your choices. You are here to live. You are here to grow. You are here to follow your path. You are here to become the best version of yourself. And none of that requires explanation. When you finally accept that you are not responsible for how others see you, your mind becomes free. Your heart becomes strong, and your life becomes yours again. Point 4. Silence is a sign of confidence. Silence is one of the most powerful tools a person can have. Most people feel the need to fill every space with words, to defend themselves at every moment, to justify their choices endlessly. But here is a truth. Talking too much often signals insecurity. When someone is unsure of themselves, they feel the need to explain, to convince, to seek approval. On the other hand, truly strong and confident people speak less. They do not feel the need to explain every thought, every decision, or every action. Silence becomes their strength because it communicates confidence without a single word. Think about it. When you speak too much, you give others the opportunity to doubt you, misinterpret you, or even manipulate your words. But when you choose silence, you create space for clarity. Silence forces people to reflect on your presence, your actions, and your character rather than on your explanations. It shows that you do not need anyone else to validate your choices. Silence signals self-assurance, maturity, and inner peace. It shows that you trust yourself more than you fear the opinions of others. Imagine a situation. Someone says something rude or critical about you. The old version of yourself might respond quickly, trying to justify every point, explain your intentions, and correct their misunderstanding. You might say, "No, that's not true. Let me tell you why you're wrong. Listen carefully." But notice what happens. The more you explain, the more you feed the drama. You give the other person power over your emotions. You let them pull you into a conversation that drains your energy. Now imagine the stronger, wiser version of you. You hear the criticism, but you do not react emotionally. You do not rush to explain or defend. You stay calm. You stay composed. You keep moving forward with your life. Your silence becomes your statement. People notice it. They realize that your confidence is unshakable. They see that you are focused on your own growth rather than on proving yourself to them. Your silence communicates something words never could. You are secure in who you are, and you will not compromise your peace to satisfy someone else's judgment. Silence is not just about staying quiet. It is a declaration of power. It says to the world that you do not need validation, approval, or recognition from others. It tells people that you trust your choices and your path. It communicates patience, self-control, and an inner strength that cannot be shaken by criticism. Those who are quick to argue or justify often show a lack of control, but those who master the art of silence project authority effortlessly. When you stop explaining yourself and embrace silence, something remarkable happens. People begin to respect you more. They see that you are not easily swayed. They notice your calmness in situations that once made you anxious. They realize that your life is yours to live, not theirs to judge. Silence becomes a shield, a weapon, and a statement all at once. It frees you from the constant burden of explanation and allows you to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your dreams, and your growth. The world may try to provoke you, criticize you, or misinterpret you, but silence keeps you unshakable. When you stop feeling the need to justify every move, you step into a new level of confidence. You start to understand that true power is not in speaking more, but in speaking wisely, or sometimes not at all. The stronger you become, the less you feel the need to explain. And in that silence, your life changes, because you no longer live to defend your choices. You live to create, to achieve, and to thrive. Silence is a choice. It is not weakness. It is a declaration that you are in control of yourself, your emotions, and your path. It is the quiet strength that separates those who are truly confident from those who are endlessly defensive. When you embrace silence, you embrace power. And when you stop explaining yourself, you finally become unstoppable. Point 5. Not everyone deserves access to your reasons. One of the most important lessons you will ever learn is that not everyone deserves to know the details of your life. Your dreams, your ambitions, your plans, your struggles, and your victories are yours. They are personal. They belong to you, and you alone. Every time you feel the urge to explain why you are doing something, ask yourself, does this person truly need to know this? Do they deserve access to my reasons? More often than not, the answer is no. Think about it. Your life is your journey, and not everyone who walks past you is meant to walk with you. Some people are observers, some are critics, and some are distractions. When you try to explain your decisions to people who are not invested in your growth, you waste your energy and open the door to judgment. They will twist your words, misunderstand your intentions, or use your explanations against you. Their opinions are often clouded by their own fears, insecurities, or jealousy. No matter how clear or detailed your explanations are, they will rarely understand the full picture, and worse, they might actively try to slow you down. On the other hand, when you share your life with people who truly care, who truly want to see you grow, something beautiful happens. These are the people who support you without hesitation. They listen with an open mind, offer advice when necessary, and celebrate your progress with genuine happiness. The problem isn't your life story. The problem is the audience. Not everyone is meant to hear your plans, and that is okay. Your reasons are sacred, and your energy is precious. Protect both fiercely. Your purpose, your growth, and your journey are not meant for everyone. They are meant for those who are aligned with your vision, those who will uplift you, not weigh you down. Sharing your plans indiscriminately is like handing the keys of your life to strangers. You risk being misunderstood, judged, or discouraged. Every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't deserve it, you dilute your focus, compromise your energy, and allow external opinions to influence your path. That is why it is so important to be selective. Share your reasons only with those who genuinely want to see you succeed. Protect your thoughts, your heart, and your intentions from those who would misuse them. When you stop explaining your life to the wrong people, your mind becomes clear. You stop overthinking and doubting yourself because you are no longer seeking unnecessary approval. Your heart becomes strong because you are no longer vulnerable to the judgments and criticisms of the wrong audience. You start to understand that your life is not a public debate. It is your creation, your responsibility, and your masterpiece. The less you explain to the wrong people, the more you reclaim your energy and focus. Remember, not everyone deserves access to your mind or your heart. Your goals, your decisions, and your journey are personal treasures. Protect them. Guard them. Only share them with those who have proven themselves worthy. When you do this, you experience freedom. The freedom to live your life fully, to grow without distraction, and to chase your dreams without hesitation. Your clarity and strength increase exponentially when you stop explaining yourself to people who don't deserve access to your reasons. That is when true progress begins. Point 6. Your energy is precious. One of the most overlooked truths in life is that your energy is one of your most valuable assets. Every time you feel the need to explain yourself, you are spending energy. Mental energy, emotional energy, and even physical energy. It might seem small at the moment, a few sentences here, a few clarifications there. But these small pieces add up. Every explanation you give to someone who doesn't truly care, or worse, someone who wants to judge or misunderstand you, chips away at your vitality. Over time, this constant need to justify yourself leaves you drained, frustrated, and distracted from what really matters: your growth, your dreams, and your inner peace. Think about it carefully. Your mind has limited space and focus. Your emotions have limited capacity. When you invest your energy in defending your choices, explaining your motives, or convincing someone of your intentions, you are essentially giving away a piece of yourself. And what do you gain in return? Often, nothing. People who are determined to judge, criticize, or doubt you are not interested in understanding. No amount of explanation will change their minds. Yet so many people fall into the trap of wasting hours, days, or even years of energy trying to justify themselves to those who will never truly see them. Your energy is not infinite. It is precious, and it must be protected. You need it to build your dreams. You need it to work on your skills, to improve your life, and to create opportunities. You need it to think clearly when faced with challenges, to make strong decisions, and to remain calm under pressure. When you squander your energy on explanations, you rob yourself of the strength required to achieve these things. You may feel tired, overwhelmed, or even defeated, not because your life is hard, but because you have given so much of yourself to people who did not deserve it. The moment you stop explaining yourself, a remarkable shift happens. You reclaim the energy that was once wasted. Your mind feels clearer. Your emotions feel steadier. Your body feels lighter. Suddenly, you have more strength to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your passions, and your growth. You can dedicate more time to working on your craft, building your dreams, and pursuing the life you want instead of constantly defending your choices to those who will never understand them. This is why learning to stop explaining yourself is not just about pride or confidence. It is about protecting your energy, your peace, and your potential. Every minute spent trying to justify yourself to the wrong people is a minute stolen from your life, from your progress, and from your happiness. When you stop giving unnecessary explanations, you are essentially taking back control of your energy. You become more focused, more productive, and more alive. You finally have the space to grow without distraction. Remember, your energy is too valuable to waste. Guard it fiercely. Direct it toward your dreams, your growth, and your future. When you stop explaining yourself, you not only save energy, you gain freedom, clarity, and power. And once you understand this, you begin to experience life in a completely different way, because your energy is no longer drained by others. It becomes a force for your success, your happiness, and your transformation. Point 7. When you stop explaining, you grow faster. One of the most powerful realizations in life is understanding that explaining yourself too much can actually slow your growth. When you constantly feel the need to justify your choices, defend your decisions, or clarify your intentions, you are giving your energy and attention to the wrong things. You are focusing on the opinions of others instead of your own goals. You are thinking about how people perceive you instead of how you can improve yourself. Every explanation you give is a moment that could have been spent building, learning, and leveling up. Growth requires focus, energy, and dedication, and too many explanations steal all three. When you stop explaining yourself, something remarkable happens. You remove the noise. You remove the distractions. You remove the emotional weight of others' opinions. You stop carrying around the unnecessary burden of needing to make everyone understand your choices. Without that constant mental chatter, your mind becomes clear. Your focus becomes sharper. Your energy is free to pour into your actions, your goals, and your growth. You begin to see opportunities more clearly, think more creatively, and move more decisively. The space that was once filled with explanations now becomes the space for progress. Think about the difference between asking, "What will people think?" versus asking, "What do I want?" The first question ties you to external validation, slows your decision-making, and keeps you chained to others' expectations. The second question focuses on your own priorities, your own values, and your own growth. One pulls you backward, the other pushes you forward. When you stop explaining yourself, you start living for your own standards instead of someone else's judgments. You stop worrying about acceptance and start worrying about improvement. You stop seeking approval and start seeking results. Growth loves silence. Progress thrives in privacy. When you share every detail of your life, you expose yourself to judgment, distraction, and unnecessary negativity. But when you keep your plans, goals, and dreams private, you protect your energy and your focus. You stop wasting time explaining why you want something and start asking how you can achieve it. Instead of trying to convince the world that you are on the right path, you simply walk your path. Every step you take without explanation accelerates your growth because you are fully committed to action rather than persuasion. This is where the true power of stopping explanations comes in. Your energy shifts from trying to make others understand to improving yourself. You begin explaining your dreams not to others, but to yourself in the form of actions, results, and consistent effort. Each step forward becomes evidence of your dedication. Each achievement reinforces your confidence. Each moment of focus compounds your progress. You realize that the less you explain, the more you accomplish. When you stop explaining yourself, you no longer live in reaction to others' expectations. You live in alignment with your own purpose. Your growth accelerates because you are no longer slowed down by the weight of others' judgments. You start thinking less about proving yourself and more about improving yourself. You stop trying to justify your life and start building it. And that, my friend, is when transformation happens. The kind of transformation that is fast, powerful, and unstoppable. Point 8. The right people never ask for explanations. One of the most powerful shifts that occurs when you stop explaining yourself is the people you attract naturally begin to change. When you constantly feel the need to justify your choices, clarify your motives, or explain your actions, you often attract the wrong kind of people. People who are judgmental, insecure, or negative are drawn to uncertainty. They sense when you are trying too hard to prove yourself, and they exploit it. But when you stop explaining, you send a different signal, one of confidence, self-respect, and focus. This signal repels the wrong people and draws in the right ones. The right people in your life do not need to hear your explanations. They do not question your decisions or doubt your intentions. Instead, they respect your autonomy and trust your judgment. They do not ask, "Why are you doing this?" They ask, "How can I support you?" They do not say, "Are you sure this is the right path?" They say, "I believe in you." They do not demand to hear your reasons or proofs. They simply understand that your choices are thoughtful, intentional, and guided by your own purpose. These are the people who celebrate your victories, encourage your growth, and honor your journey without requiring you to justify every step. When you stop explaining yourself, your energy changes. You no longer waste time trying to convince people of your worth or your path. Instead, you focus on your goals, your growth, and your vision. This confidence is magnetic. It naturally repels judgmental and insecure individuals who feed on doubt and uncertainty. At the same time, it attracts people who are aligned with your energy, those who value growth, authenticity, and positivity. Your boundaries become stronger. You begin to understand that your life, your choices, and your time are too precious to spend on people who demand explanations or approval. Consider this. When you are constantly explaining yourself, you are often seeking acceptance. You are hoping that others will understand, approve, or support your path. But true support does not require explanations. Those who truly care, who truly respect you, do not need you to justify your life to them. They understand that your choices are yours, that your growth is personal, and that your energy is valuable. They recognize that your vision is unique, and they honor it without question. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you stop attracting the wrong people and start attracting the right ones. Your circle begins to change naturally. You find yourself surrounded by people who inspire you, challenge you in healthy ways, and support your evolution. You no longer feel the need to fit into environments where you are constantly misunderstood or judged. Instead, you are free to exist authentically, and in that authenticity, the right relationships flourish. Ultimately, stopping explanations is not just about saving energy or avoiding judgment. It is about creating space for alignment. It is about ensuring that the people around you are those who elevate you, not drain you. It is about building a life where your actions, your values, and your dreams are supported naturally, without negotiation. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop attracting doubt and criticism, and you start attracting respect, trust, and genuine support. This is the hidden power of silence, confidence, and self-respect. The right people never ask for explanations, and your life becomes richer, freer, and more fulfilling because of it. Point 9. Your life belongs to you. At the very core of personal freedom lies a simple but often forgotten truth. Your life belongs to you. Every moment, every decision, and every choice is yours and yours alone. Society does not own your dreams. Your family does not dictate your path. Strangers have no authority over your actions, and critics certainly do not hold the key to your decisions. Yet so many of us spend our lives explaining ourselves, justifying our choices, and seeking approval for the very life that is inherently ours. This habit is exhausting, unnecessary, and most importantly, it steals your freedom. The moment you internalize that your life belongs to you, everything begins to shift. You no longer feel the pressure to justify your dreams to those who do not support them. You stop explaining your boundaries to people who have never respected them in the first place. You do not defend your silence, your decisions, or the pace at which you are healing, because you understand that none of these are anyone's business but your own. Each explanation you give to someone who doesn't need it is a small surrender of your power. Each justification is a distraction from the life you are meant to live. When you stop explaining, you reclaim that power. You reclaim your freedom. Think about it for a moment. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your dreams. Pursuing what excites you, challenges you, or fulfills you is your choice, and it does not require validation from others. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your boundaries. Protecting your energy, your peace, and your priorities is not negotiable. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your silence, your healing, or your lifestyle. These are intimate parts of your life, parts that define your authenticity. Trying to explain or justify them to the wrong people only dilutes your focus and drains your energy. Your life is your responsibility. Your happiness is your responsibility. Your future is your responsibility. And because of that, you have the right to live it on your own terms. Every moment spent defending your choices is a moment stolen from growth, productivity, and fulfillment. Every word spent explaining yourself to the wrong audience is energy lost. Energy that could have been used to build, to create, and to transform your life. When you stop explaining yourself, you start directing all of your energy toward what truly matters. Your goals, your dreams, and your personal evolution. Living without constant explanation is liberating. It allows you to embrace authenticity fully. It allows you to make decisions rooted in your values, your purpose, and your vision, rather than in others' expectations. It allows you to pursue your goals boldly and without hesitation. When you live your life this way, you discover a deep sense of peace, confidence, and fulfillment. You begin to realize that living authentically does not require permission or approval. It only requires courage, clarity, and commitment. So take ownership of your life. Understand that you are the author of your story, the captain of your ship, and the architect of your future. Stop explaining your dreams, your decisions, and your journey to those who do not deserve access to them. Protect your energy. Protect your peace. Protect your growth. When you do this, you experience true freedom. The freedom to live powerfully, intentionally, and authentically. Your life is yours, and no explanation can ever change that. Final words. When you stop explaining, everything changes. My friend, there comes a moment in life when you realize that living for others is holding you back. You realize that constantly explaining yourself, defending your choices, and seeking approval is draining your energy and slowing your growth. At that moment, a shift happens. You stop living to be understood and start living to be better. You stop defending yourself and start developing yourself. You stop explaining yourself and start expressing your true self, not through words, but through action, determination, and consistent effort. You don't need to explain why you dream big. You don't need to explain why you choose your own path. You don't need to explain why you cut off negativity from your life. You don't need to explain why you seek peace, focus, or growth. These are your choices, your values, and your priorities. They are not negotiable, and they're not up for debate. All you need is the courage to live them fully, with honesty, strength, and clarity. When you embrace this, something incredible happens. You become unstoppable. On English Achieve, we always talk about how your actions define your life more than your words ever can. When you stop explaining, your life starts speaking for itself. You move differently. You walk with intention. You carry yourself with confidence. People sense it. They notice your calmness, your boundaries, and the strength of your focus. You become someone grounded, unshakable, and unbothered by the noise of judgment, doubt, or criticism. Your energy changes, and that energy draws the right opportunities and the right people toward you naturally. Remember this: people who understand you don't need explanations. People who don't understand you won't accept explanations, no matter how detailed or heartfelt. So stop giving your power away and trying to make them see your perspective. Live your life. Build your future. Protect your peace. Keep focusing on yourself, your growth, and your dreams. Let your actions speak louder than any words you could ever say. Because when you stop explaining yourself, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your energy multiplies, and your life finally begins to move in the direction you were always meant to go. This is your permission to stop defending, start creating, and fully embrace your power. Stop explaining, start living, and watch your world transform.